Hi guys, welcome to Valuvalu Media. I am Murigi Grace Njeri together with my super producer Kenyatta Ian. In today's video, we'll be interviewing a man of value, an alumni of Kenyatta University and a great leader to the nation that we have here in Kenya, Sir Ian Mbugua. So sit back, relax and learn from the video. Hello, karibu sana Valuvalu.
Hello, how are you?
I am very fine. How are you?
I am very fine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah.
That's nice. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Ian. Ian Mbugua is my name. I was given that name by my mother when I was born. But as I was growing up, another name was added to my name. And those who know me now call me Sir Ian Mbugua. So Sir Ian Mbugua is a young boy who has grown up in Nyandarua County. I was born and raised in Nyandarua County. I went to primary school at a local primary school called Inoro Primary School. As a matter of fact, Inoro Primary School is just a fence away from my home. So I used to sneak during break time to go and have tea. So I passed very well. I was actually one of the top students in my ward, in my area. I went to high school in Nyeri. I studied at a school called St. Mary's Nyeri. That school molded me. It made me a man. I then passed well and went to university at Kenyatta University. I pursued a bachelor's degree in commerce, accounting option. So Ian Mbugua is an accountant by profession. I have finished my studies, but I am still waiting to be conferred by the powers to read and write very soon, in probably 2 months. Ian Mbugua is also a politician, a leader. I started my leadership journey back in primary school. I was appointed class prefect. I went to high school. I served as a captain for 2 years. I was also the chairperson of very many clubs. As a matter of fact, I was the only person in high school who was serving as a chairperson to more than one club. So I have been a leader since then. Then I graduated. I graduated from high school, went to campus, then still pursued leadership. I was elected the delegate of the School of Business in the year 2021, 2022. The 17th Congress by then. The School of Business at KU is the third largest school, so I represented more than 7,000 students. It taught me, it molded me, and I also have vied for more positions. In 2019, I was in the official opposition team. We almost won. So I was in the official position, and that has been my leadership journey. I'm also a youth leader at home in Nyandarua. My friends and I have an organization called the Odoro Youth Empowerment Movement, which we started sometime in 2023. So that movement basically it is an empowerment movement, basically trying to empower the youth of the various issues that are affecting youths, trying to tell them that it is time for the youths, and trying to bring them closer to opportunities. That has been my journey. I also said I am an entrepreneur. I'm a business person. Business has always been something I have liked. Before I went to high school, I always told myself I have to do business. Because I just thought that business studies would be such a nice subject. I want to understand how business is done. Funny enough, when I went to high school, business studies was a compulsory subject.
Interesting.
I was so excited. So that is the first time I interacted with business studies. Then I came to KU, did a business course. My first interaction with business was when I was a second year. So me and my cousin sat and decided, by that time I was living with my cousin. We decided we can start a business. And the business we want to start because we don't have funds, let's try to look for some money somewhere. We start a business. At that time, I was very naive. I didn't know anything. I didn't have the hands-on experience of a business. I had just learned the theoretical part in school. So I was just very naive. So we looked for some money from a relative. That relative gave us around 40,000. When that money hit our account, we forgot about the business. we bought stock, but the stock was very perishable because we had decided to invest in liquor. We wanted to start a liquor business. But now, we were very naive. That was the first time. So I learned a thing or two then. Then coming forward, I have also started other businesses. Currently, I'm running a business with a friend of mine. We are dealing with laptops. We have that. We deal with laptops and laptop accessories. And I'm also trying to. I'm also in another partnership with a friend. We are dealing with some cosmetic products. So all these are startups. So we are trying. Yeah, we are trying. Yes, that is Ian Mbugua.
That is incredible. You're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, as a young person, as a young politician, a young leader in Kenya, how do you view the current leadership landscape in Kenya?
Alright. So, Kenya currently, I think I am one of the proudest youths in this country because the youths have now realized that they have a voice, and we as the youths, we have realized that we can actually make change. That is one. I am proud of what the young people, we the youths, I'm proud of what we're doing. Number two, I am also saddened by the current state of the political landscape because you find that this country is being governed by people who are overly corrupt, people who don't even care about what the common wananchi is feeling or what is happening in the common wananchi. A country that is being governed by people who don't care about human life, people who don't even care about the constitution, people who are just there.
The young people, I believe, wamesikia. 2027, chukua kura and take up leadership positions.
Go out and vote. Yeah, we need better governance in this country.
That is very impressive. Now, as a young entrepreneur, because you're into business, you mentioned that you did business in your undergraduate. What is your experience now in the field, now as a young entrepreneur?
Thank you for that question. As a young entrepreneur, as I have told you, my journey to business or entrepreneurship started when I was still a junior in campus. I was, I think, a second or third year. I was a second year ago. And it was something that it gives me thrill to be in business because I just want to experience business. So business has been tough. The journey for entrepreneurs is very tough because for you to start a very successful venture, you must have a very important aspect called capital. Capital is so important in business because that is what you use to even grow your business, start your business. And for me, it has been very tough because as a young person, most banks will ask you for collateral. You will need your loan to be secured, and I'm just a young person. I do not have assets that I can take to the bank for them to be registered as collateral. Most people will not invest their monies in large amounts. When you're looking at capital, you will not find people who are willing to give you money in probably say large quantities of 200,000, 300,000. If somebody is investing in your business, they'll probably give you 50,000. So it has been tough. Also, the economic times are hard. The taxes are so high. Business is not doing well basically in Kenya. So as a young person who is in business, I can say it is very tough. It is not easy.
And now, as a young leader who is also an entrepreneur, what do you think is the role of the government in supporting young businesses and young startups?
I think the government has to play a very big part in supporting young people. We all know that Kenya has a very high rate of unemployment.
True.
The rate of unemployment in Kenya is so high that young people are finishing campus, not sure where they are going. You're doing your course, not sure what you're going out there to do. You see, in Kenya, the universities in Kenya are producing more than 100,000 graduates every year. And the number of jobs created are very few. They're actually less than that. There was a survey done, I think last year, that found out that every successful startup in Kenya employs at least 5 permanent employees. That's a startup, yeah? Now, if government supports startups, that means that the rate of employment is also going to rise. I think the government should ease the bottlenecks of access to capital. Because a lot of fact, there was another survey that was done last year. Do you know Kenya received more than $600 million in startup capital. That is 29% of the total startup capital that was even given to Africa. That says that Kenya was given the majority of the startup fund to fund startups and SMEs, the small, medium, and enterprises, right? But do you know 600 million USD is 600 billion in Kenya shillings, around 600 billion. That money is more than what county governments in Kenya are allocated every financial year.
I agree.
That tells you that money, the kind of money that was given to Kenya in startup capital was so much. But Kenya now is a funny country because you find that we were given the chunk, the big chunk of it, but the number of startups that have been funded, if startups are being funded, then tungekuwa tunasikia kuna mtu pahali fulani walipewa 50, tungekuwa tunasikia mwingine wakapewa. But we niambie, how many startups do we here have been funded successfully by the government? Very few.
Minimal or close to none.
As a matter of fact, I have never had a startup funded by government. I think the government has to be serious on funding startups. The government has to be serious in minimizing the rate of corruption in this country. Because if that money was channeled to the right direction, many young people, as it is usually said, wangetoka blog. Because if you fund my business and my business does well, then I will also employ other people. And that is how we reduce the rate of unemployment. So the government has a role to play. Reduce the rate of corruption so that money which is intended to do the startup work for young people gets to the young people. Number 2, reduce the bottlenecks to starting a business. Because when you want to start a business, you will be told, go and get a license from who, go and get another license from minister of who, go and get a license from chief, and get a license from so many unnecessary licenses. You start wondering, does this government really want me to start a business? Or they don't want. So the government has to use these issues of licensing every year. Give us one license that will allow me to do my business peacefully. Number 2, I think the private sector in Kenya has a role to play. Recently, I was part of a program that is being run by some big bank in this country. Now, I found it very, very diabolical. Because these people told us, now come, we train you. Then after the training, we will give you funding, a grant. They trained us for like 3 months. And then after the 3 months, we were expecting now these people will do what they will fund us. Because now you have trained us, we have the skills, you can come and access our businesses. But after the 3 months, nobody was funded. You see, the private sector also has a role to play in this country, because that was I think that was not they didn't do good, because let me tell you, we were going to very big hotels for the trainings. A hotel that is a 4-star hotel, 5-star hotel for training, you get breakfast and lunch. If you went there as a person to get that kind of treatment, you would pay almost 4,000 shillings as one person. So meaning that bank, to cater the cost for one person for the whole 3 months, they used almost 50,000 shillings. Now our opinion was, then why take us to very big hotels for training when you can even train under a tree? And then at the end of the 3 months, that money that we would have eaten, just give us that money to boost our business. You see, so it didn't make sense to me. So the private sector has a role to play, and watuache kujipenda. You want to eat the small monies that can save somebody else. Surely that doesn't make a lot of sense. So we have so many challenges, and the government should become serious, so that also young people can find a chance in startup and entrepreneurship.
And now, as an entrepreneur, I believe there are so many entrepreneurs who look up to Sir Ian Mbugua. I would like you to tell them something. They've had your journey in leadership and in entrepreneurship. Now I would like you to say something to them, someone who has not yet started because they don't have a motivation. I believe it's going to be a motivation to one or two entrepreneurs. Yeah.
So if you're a young person out there, you have a business that is probably, you're starting your business, you have the startup that you're trying to push, I can tell you to not give up. Not give up. As far much as it seems very hard, just keep trying. Wake up every day, go keep trying. You might give up today, when tomorrow was your big day to close that deal, get that funding, just get that one client that is going to push your brand. Keep pushing, speak to the right people, network, and take advantage of the chances. Any chance you get, take advantage of it. It is not easy. It's usually not easy, but from time to time, through consistent efforts, you're going to make it.
As a young politician in Kenya, how do you view the current political landscape in our country?
The current political landscape. First of all, let me say that I am happy. I'm a happy youth of this country, because starting from last year, we as the young people have realized something. We as young people have woken up, if I say that, because we have realized that for this country to go in the right direction, we have to be involved. Young people have woken up and are taking up their space in the society, because these people who are in leadership positions are going to retire and are going to fade away. This country is going to be ours. This country is already ours, but we are the people who are going to be in those positions very soon. So to every young person out there, congratulations, and keep pushing, because this country is ours, and we have to be involved in decision making. We have to be involved in everything. On the other side, I have to say that I'm also saddened by the state of affairs. In a country that is being governed by people who are very, very arrogant, people who don't even care about the common mwananchi, people who are just doing things for their own good and not for the good of the common public. When you see a country killing its people and no action is being taken against these people, that tells you that the people who are in leadership do not care. It is a sad state of affairs. When you see a country that does not have a legitimate opposition, you don't even know which one is in government. Is it the opposition or is it the government that is in opposition? That is a very sad state of affairs, because there must be checks and balances for a system to operate smooth. Because if you operate a government without checks and balances, that means that the president will be waking up saying, hey, let's allocate 100 billion to my wife. and then Parliament will just pass it because there is no opposition to say that is not right. And you have seen that actually has been happening. The Parliament has been manipulated by the executive such that anything that comes from the executive to Parliament is going through. I think that is a very sad state of affairs. And it is something that we as young people, our parents, and everybody living there should be woke, should see, and should note that that is not right, and action has to be taken when the time is right. Yeah.
Earlier you had mentioned that you were a student leader at Kenyatta University.
Yeah.
How did leadership in KU shape you for the leadership out here in this country, and how are the systems in Kenyatta University in any way related or in preparedness to the leadership that is in our country out here?
I have been molded as a leader, having vied in Kenyatta University. You know, I vied in a school that had whose population was so large. As I think I had mentioned that I was leading more than 7,000 students.
Yes, you did.
My school of business, is actually the third largest in KU. So campaigning that school was very, very taxing. It was very rigorous. Had to do so much. Had to convince so many people. So I think that is the same experience that is actually out there, because it is actually said once you vie and get a position in such a big school, you're actually representing more than some MCA somewhere. As a matter of fact, my MCA at home, where ward, my ward has only like 4,000 people. There I was representing 7,000. So I was actually representing more than my MCA. Yeah, those are facts, right?
Sure.
So it has prepared me in the aspect of how campaigning is done. That is one. Number two, service delivery. You see, all these people now will now want you, because you have been elected, you're going to serve them. The same thing that is usually happening out there. And then leadership at the university level also gives you the confidence to talk to people. It prepares you basically. It was a very nice platform for myself, and I can say if I am not very ready, I am somewhere. It has prepared me for leadership out there. However, as a former student leader, I have to speak against something. In the year 2017, under the regime of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, in the year 2018, the government introduced an amendment act to the Universities Act that introduced another voting system in the schools, or rather in the universities. That act is known as the Universities Amendment Act of 2018. Now that act disqualifies, or rather does not allow presidential candidates in universities to do what is called the popular vote. You find that a president in a university like KU does not go and campaign to the 72,000 students in KU. The president will only campaign to less than 60 delegates of the electoral college. I think that was a very wrong amendment act, and over the years, people or comrades have tried to send their opinions. We saw Babu Owino some time back, probably in 2022, trying to say that amendment act should be repealed, because it is an act that does not allow people to grow. Because now, when you give the responsibility of electing a president to 54 students over the whole majority, it now reduces the work of the campaigning team, and it is actually a limiting factor, because you should go out there and get the exposure of campaigning to so many people, and then letting people, because Kenya is a free democracy, let the people elect their own president. That system is marred by so many malpractices, including corruption. Myself, I also vied with the Students' Governing Council, and I can tell you, the kind of corruption that happens when these elections are happening is out of this world. people are actually bought to the tune of 50,000 for one vote. So that is a system that should be repealed, and the people should go back to electing their own president. You'll find that, for example, Kenyatta University is a very big school. That president who has been elected by 54 delegates is not even known by so many other comrades out there. Now, when they want to reach out, how would they reach out to somebody they don't even know? Watakuwa tu wakisikia president alichaguliwa, they don't even know who voted for that president. So it is something that has to be looked into, and if we are intentional about molding leaders from the lower levels of the university going that way, that actually be removed. I can give you countless examples of people who started their leadership from student leadership. Right now, they're doing very well as national leaders. Everybody knows Babu Owino.
Sure.
Babu Owino was the Sonu president for so many years. Didi Nyoro started here in KU, is now doing very well. My senator, Methu, did very well as a student leader in Pwani University. So many countless politicians right now. So that is has to be looked into. And if the current members of parliament won't do it, when we get there, we will do it. We will speak against that amendment. Yeah.
Those are very good insights. I believe the right audience has heard that, and they are going to take action on the same.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, as a young person, as a young leader, what do you think is the role of youth in our country in regards to our government, how the political systems are done in Kenya, how everything, politics and leadership in Kenya is done? What do you think is the role of the youth in leadership?
Thank you for that question. Let me tell you something. Do you know, according to the 2019 census, the number of people who are 35 years and below is 75% of the total population. That tells you that the number of young people in this country can determine the future of this country. That 75% is like the whole pie. You know, a pie, 75%. So that means the people who are bringing issues in this country are just, 25%? So I believe that young people have a very big role to play in this country. Number one, you know, young people don't like voting. In the previous election, I was lucky to be one of the IBC clerks. And I can tell you that the young people who came to vote were like 10% of the total population that voted. Young people don't like, but even here in the campus, when there are elections, you have to force and entice people to come and even vote. And these are people who are 18 years and above. So you find that we as young people have to change how we are thinking. We as young people have to realize that we are holding our future in our hands. By one, making sure that we directly participate in elections. Young people also have the responsibility of calling out bad leadership. We are the most tech-savvy people of our generation as young people. We are the people who can call out bad leadership and bad governance without even having to go to finding those people where they are. I think technology has made it very easy for us to put checks and balances in the governance system. For example, last year when the government introduced a very bad finance bill, young people used the internet, social media, to say, you know what, this bill you're introducing, it is bad and we do not want it. You see? So it is upon us young people to call out bad leadership as such. We as young people should also know that this country, you know, when we were kids, we used to go to church. I used to go to church and we would be called and tungeombewa hapo mbele. The person who was praying many a times would say, hawa ndio viongozi wa kesho. Sasa mimi naamini ya kwamba hiyo kesho imefika. Na sasa sisi vijana si viongozi wa kesho tena, sisi ni viongozi wa leo. Na kama sisi ni viongozi wa leo, lazima we have to take the leadership now. We don't have to wait for people who are 80 years to be governing us, to be leading us. It is up to us because we are the strongest people. We have the best of ideas. We are the best innovators as young people. So even given these responsibilities, I know young people will do marvelous. So I want to urge young people, 2027, do not be afraid to take up leadership positions. Even I myself, I am going to go back to my home and I am going to make sure that one, I mobilize young people. I tell them, you know what, this is our area and we have to do what? We have to rise up. We have to know that we are the decision makers. Our parents are becoming old and sisi ndo tuko. Sisi ndo tuko manzi. We are the future. We are the now. And there is nothing for us without us.
Now, Sir Ian Mbugua, as a young leader, as a young entrepreneur, as a person who is doing a lot at a young age, there are people who are looking up to you. There are young people who want to start up their businesses, who want to get into leadership, and they don't know how it's done. And they've listened to your story, and you've inspired a lot of people. Now, what would you like these young people to hear from you? What advice would you like to give to these young people?
Thank you. First thing I'll tell them is you either take the risk or lose the chance. If you don't try, you will never know. You'll keep complaining, I wish I did. So myself, mimi sijafika pia. Mimi pia naona. So young people is all about get out of your comfort zone. Go out there, work hard, look at opportunities and the chances that you have. Use what you have. You know, you cannot have everything. You never have everything at a point. But use what you have to take you to the next level. So that is what I tell you. In as far as leadership is concerned, we are the future of this country. The ball is in our court, and the next generation will not judge us that we did nothing when we were needed to act. So we need to act now, and we need to be counted by history has to count us on the right side. Yeah, thank you.
Very, very impressive. Very wise. The wise words from Sir Ian Mbugua. Yes, comrades wisdom. Yes, and now as Sir Ian Mbugua, as an individual, a leader, an entrepreneur, a young man who is doing a lot for this country as well, where do you see yourself in the next few years?
In the next few years, I think I mentioned that we are young people. The people who are holding the positions right now, in the next few years, they won't be holding those positions.
I agree.
And as Ian Mbugua, I want to be ready. I have to equip myself because I want to be ready to hold those positions in the years to come. So as I said, I am an accountant professional. And I want to run the business world like nobody's business. I want to be a top tier manager, top level management of the corporate world. And I also want to pursue politics. I want to also be involved in how this country is being governed politically. I also want to empower young people. I want to be involved in things or rather activities that are empowering young people, that are giving them chances and connecting them to opportunities. So I have a lot, naomba Mungu anisaidie so that the vision I have may become successful. So that hii Kenya tuende mbele wote kama namna gani.
Namna hiyo. As Valuvalu Media, we've been very much excited and delighted to see you achieve your goals. Yes, now to your audience, you can look at the camera now. Wape parting shot. Wape maneno ya mwisho as Sir Ian Mbugua.
So parting shot is this. So first of all, I want to thank Valuvalu Media for the invite. for taking the time listening to me. And thank you. I'm grateful. I'm greatly honored.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. And people there, sisi ndo tupo kama vijana na to the people of Oljoro, because that is home and that is where I will go. To that is where I will start. I didn't tell you, by the way. You see, my county, Nyandarua, is ranked among the marginalized counties. A county that has so many resources, a county that produces potatoes like no other county in Kenya, a county that produces milk like no other county in Kenya, a county that has a lake. You know, we have a lake in Nyandarua.
Impressive.
The only county in Central that has a lake. And still, we are categorized as a marginalized county. I think it is an insult to the hardworking people of Nyandarua, to the people who wake up very early in the morning to go and till their farms and produce food for the people of Nairobi. I think it is an insult, and it is an insult because the people who have been in leadership have not been able to make Nyandarua County a land of prosperity, a place that can be imagined to be very nice. And I want to urge them, and I want to tell the people of Nyandarua and Oljoro my hope. Mimi kijana wenu mlinisomesha, mimi nitarudi, and the wisdom I have been given by God, the knowledge and the courage, I am going to use them to make my home a better place, to make, or rather to hold more young people home, to make sure that they are connected to opportunity. And I also want to tell the leaders of Nyandarua, look at me while I am coming. I am coming. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you so much, Sir Ian, even for honoring our invitation. It is an honor to have you in Valuvalu Media.
Thank you.
We are delighted to have interviewed you today. I believe wenye masikio wamesikia, na wenye wanafaa ku take action, people are going to take action. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching our video today. That is all we had for today. See you in our next video.